where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Hello there, very good morning to you, viewer, and of course, welcome to Morning Dew on Dott Television. Today, we have things to bring your way concerning news and, of course, events around our nation and the globe. My name is Henry Uzo. Success Benjamin is in the studio.
Good morning, viewers from across the globe. Welcome to Morning Dew on Dott Television, where we bring you top stories and headlines taking wave around the world. I am Success Benjamin, and Ify is here in the studio. Ify, how are you doing this morning?
What a delightful Thursday this is. It's a third full Thursday, that day for us to just sit back and reflect on our journey so far. Ify, Arona, please.
I like the way you are baptized all the
Wednesday for
Tuesday
everyone.
was what?
A wonderful Wednesday.
Tuesday can be
Trusting
thankful Tuesday. Yes,
Okay.
because you're thankful that you've gone past Monday,
Yes.
which is usually an intense day.
Yes.
You know, when you're
trying to go from rest to work.
Weekend to work. So when you then get to Tuesday, you're like, oh, so I came through Monday.
Yeah.
I am thankful.
All right, viewer, stand by. We're coming up with a news update when we return. And of course, news update is with Success. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Welcome to News Update on Morning Dew. At last, good news. Dangote Petroleum Refinery has resumed the sale of petrol in Naira, ending its temporary dollar pricing policy after government intervention. The refinery also announced a new ex-depot price of 1,215 Naira per liter for premium motor spirit, also known as petrol, an increase of 140 Naira from the previous price of 1,075 Naira per liter. The brief switch to dollar pricing had disrupted fuel loading and raised concerns among independent marketers. The refinery says the new ex-oil prices while helping to stabilize domestic fuel supply. Following the policy reversal, private depots and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) have begun adjusting their prices, with NNPCL recently raising its pump price to 1,335 Naira per liter in several parts of the country. Now, President Bola Tinubu has congratulated Mrs. Oyinkansola Badejo Okusanya CERN on our elections as the first democratically elected female president of the and a victory for merit that are integral to the country. He also urged the new NBA president to unite the association by reaching out to a fellow contestant and addressing concerns raised during the election process. President Tinubu expressed confidence that our leadership will strengthen the legal profession, uphold the rule of law, and promote reforms that improve access to justice. Nigeria Bar Association to deepen democracy, advance judicial reforms, and promote national development. He wished Mrs. Badejo Okusanya a successful and impactful tenure. Now on entertainment, veteran Nollywood actress Bookie Wright has revealed that she stepped away from acting to focus on raising her children abroad, saying she has no regrets about the decision. Speaking on the Morayo show, the 59-year-old actress said she left the country without informing her fans and apologized for a long absence, explaining that motherhood became a top priority. Wright said her children needed her support more than her acting career at the time, adding that she would make the same 2008 movie Omotara Johnson following repeated requests from fans for a sequel. The actress said she kept a return to acting private until filming was completed, believing that keeping a plant quiet helped them succeed. Bucky Wright officially returned to the screen in January 2025 with a role in Something About the Bricks, marking a comeback after several years away from the industry. And now in sports, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has doubled the winners' prize for the Women's Africa Cup of Nations (WAFCON) to $2 million. The total prize found has increased by 67% to $5.8 million, while every participating team will receive a guaranteed $150,000 up from $125,000. The runners-up will earn $750,000. The increase comes as Nigeria's Super Falcons chase a record extending 11th WAFCON title in Morocco. CAF president said the winner's prize has grown by 900%, rising from $200,000 before its administration. In previous tournaments, the federal government and the Nigeria Football Federation have promised players additional cash rewards and national honors, although some players have raised concerns over delay in receiving the payments. Now on the foreign scene, the U.S. Senate Commerce Committee has approved legislation to strengthen the ban on Chinese automakers entering the American market. The proposed bill could also affect Mercedes-Benz, as lawmakers say the company's Chinese investment stake exceeds the limits set in the legislation. Committee Chairman Senator Ted Cruz said companies with more than 15% Chinese ownership could face restrictions. However, Senator Bernie Moreno said Mercedes-Benz would have until 2030 to meet the requirements and could apply for waivers if necessary. The bipartisan bill introduced by Senator Moreno and Democratic Senator Elisa Slotton would make permanent an existing rule that effectively blocks Chinese passengers' vehicles from being sold in the United States. The legislation also covers technologies such as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi cellular connectivity, and certain satellite communication systems, citing national security concerns over the collection of sensitive user data. Meanwhile, Volvo Cars, the sister brand of Polestar, says it has received authorization to continue operating in the U.S., although it must still comply with the new security requirements. The U.S. Senate Commerce Committee has approved legislation to strengthen the ban on Chinese automakers entering the American market. The proposed bill could also affect Mercedes-Benz, as lawmakers say the company's Chinese investment stake exceeds the limits set in the legislation. Committee Chairman Senator Ted Cruz said companies with more than 15% Chinese owners could face restrictions. However, Senator Benny Moreno said Mercedes-Benz would have until 2030 to meet the requirements and could apply for waivers if necessary. The legislation also covers technologies such as Bluetooth, Wi-Fi cellular connectivity, and certain satellite communication systems, citing national security concerns over the collection of the sensitive user data. And that's it for the news update. Stay with us on Morning Dew as we return with much more impacting and insightful discussions after this break.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and freshness. in terms of the headlines. And of course, we are starting with a business day. On the business day, we have FG signals broader cost reflective tariffs to lure power investors. That's on the business day. And of course, Nigeria relies on imports at Malaysia, builds billion-dollar palm industry. That is Dangote resumes Naira sales of petrol, fixes gantry price at 1,215 liter. That's all.
And moving on to the Nigerian Tribune, APC Atiku trade words over 12.8 trillion naira service-wide votes. ADC presidential candidates lack basic understanding of public finance, APC. You failed to address central issue of how SWV ballooned by over 1918% in 2 years. Trump lauded Tinubu over fight against terror protection of Christians. Zenith Bank named Africa's best bank, Nigeria's best bank at 2026 Economy Award for Excellence. Olakpegba emerges UT's new vice chancellor to resume November 1st. And that's it for Nigerian Tribune.
Just before we let go of Nigerian Tribune, we also have something on health. 5 cups of coffee daily, safe for heart. And that's coming from the American Heart Association. 5 cups safe. Beyond that, I don't know what will happen. Let's move now to Daily Trust. And the major headline on the front page today, questions over 30 billion naira for palaces and places of worship. Below the banner head, Phantom Council Attorney General NSA to face reps panel today. Father, daughter die in abandoned well. That's a sad one. How inmate allegedly ran car theft syndicate from Bauchi prison. These are the major stories we have on Daily Trust. Let's just add this one as well. Rivers Governorship Fubara backs Wike's ally. That's on Daily Trust.
Now, moving on to the pointer, let's look at above the masthead. Oyede, Monarch receives staff of office tomorrow. And we have the Delta targets global investors unveil opportunities. Media Workers Cooperative Society seek intervention over land disputes with Obi Kubana. Then we have up here, Governor Oboriwori's More Agenda has zero tolerance for shoddy jobs, reports substandard jobs contractors by texting and sending pictures only to the telephone numbers. Okay, there you can find them on the Ministry of Economic and Planning. And that's all we could take for the pointer this morning.
All right, next is The Guardian. On The Guardian, INEC helpless as early campaigns flout Electoral Act fairness rules. Then, of course, controversy trails 2026 budget amid palace church allocations delays. Up there above the masthead, we have oil nears $100 per barrel as marketers resume petrol loading. Nigeria's solar market hits $2.4 billion as Africa attracts 13.5 billion renewable energy investments.
Now, moving on to The Nation this morning, we have The Nation. CBN must now support productive sector. And also the topical story there, Tinubu's decisive blows on terror excite Trump. 2 million loan offer opens for young entrepreneurs. Otedola Titans hold on first Oddco with 77.559 billion shares acquisition. 5 Southeast governors back Tinubu's re-election. And that's it for The Nation.
Let's find out what's on the Punch today. Above the masthead, Please top list as ICPC uncovers 908 ghost workers. Imagine us complaining that we don't have enough police officers. And close to the masthead, delayed justice, crowded cells, over 80,000 rot in Nigerian prisons. Fake agency probe is still topical. ICPC team grills embattled DG inside police detention. These are the riders. Adeyemi quizzed for hours. Interrogation continues today. Reps to question Akume, Ribadu, Fabwemi, Disu, Accountants General today. Controversial DG gets new lawyer. Atiku tackles Tinubu over phantom agency controversy. We also have crackdown on cultists. Police arrest 3, seize firearms in Lagos. Ondo Speaker gets Sunday deadline to resign or face impeachment. That's what we have for you today on The Punch.
Now, moving on to Daily Trust. 5 Southeast governors solidly support Tinubu's re-election, Uzodinma. And right here we have Senate moves to compel CBN, NNPCL, 39 others to account for remittance. Fubara backed Chinda as successor, support Wike. Controversy over reps allocation of 780 million for evangelical instruments. And here the topical story there, presidency, Atiku fights. Ex-VP saw it past, haunting him, apologize, resign over PFIPC scandal, Atiku tells Tinubu. And that's it for the Daily Trust, Daily Sun, sorry.
Yes, next is this day. On this day, Trump to Tinubu, U.S. stands firmly with Nigeria against terrorism, reaffirms commitment to nation security, stability, counter-terrorism efforts. Then, of course, we have Uzodinma, Southeast governors have agreed to work for president in 2027 poll. That's all we have. Okay, Zenith Bank clinches dual honors at 2026 Euro Money Awards. Emerge Africa's top bank, Nigeria's best. That's all we have. And on this day.
Now, the Vanguard is leading with this story's Christian persecution. Trump vows to stand with Nigeria in anti-terror war. Applauds president's resolve to tackle nation's challenges. U.S. pledges to nullify jihadist threats in Nigeria, Somalia, Syria, and others. OPHK drone strikes kill over 20 ISWAP fighters. Chief photographer destroy logistics hub in Southern Lake, Chad. And that's the topical story we have on Vanguard. And we also have Nigeria drops to 9th yet in latest global passport ranking. That's when you talk about international passports. Then we also have the PFIPC scandal. Apologize, resign now. Atiku battles Tinubu. Igbo governors to fully support Tinubu in 2027. That's coming from Hope Uzodinma of Imo State. I'm not a criminal. My life in danger. Coming from Aisha Achimugo, the businesswoman. Rivers 2027. Fubara declares membership of Wike's Rainbow Coalition. A lot is going on. That's what we have for you on newspaper headlines this morning. We can't wait to dig into it.
Yeah, when we come back, we'll look at some of the issues that made the headlines. Stay with us. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes, to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Dott Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun, airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m., only on Dott TV.
Echoes of the Niger Delta, telling the stories, preserving the heritage, and amplifying the voices of the people. Join the journey every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. And of course, we're looking at some of the issues that made the headlines. Of course, the ones that are of serious concern to the Nigerian nation. And we have in our midst a veteran journalist and, of course, the chairman of the Delta State chapter, or do we say council of the NEJ, Churchill Oyowe. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
I didn't put comrade for you. You're a comrade.
Yeah, I'm a
Churchill
comrade,
Oyowe.
but I'm not yet a veteran.
You're not yet a veteran.
Yeah.
Well,
By
veteran?
our standard, you must have practiced for nothing less than 30 years.
Oh, before you become
I'm
a
just
veteran.
about 26.
You're almost there. You're almost there. I like your humility. You have been on the scene for some time now. All right, quite a few issues that came up, and let's start with this one. Is it cherry news? Like Success said while she was on the news update. Dangote has now reverted to loading fuel in Naira. And then how do we see that as a nation? And of course, we expect this will, but how long can we continue as a nation riding on one leg, one man operating such an industry?
You see, the petroleum industry is very sensitive in Nigeria. Major products, I mean goods and services, are hinged on the stability or instability of the petroleum industry. And that is why over time pricing, particularly now that is frequently changing from one price to another based on what is happening in the Gulf region. So at that time, subsidization becomes a balancing act. But we are no longer subsidizing. That's why we are facing the frequent changes in prices. So at least we are not seeing the benefits of subsidization. But then we have passed that. What Dangote can do for a country like Nigeria that he loves, to the extent that he has invested so much in it, is to also understand our peculiarities. To understand that there are a lot of things that will be affected if we don't use our Naira in determining the prices of our oil products, be it diesel, petrol, gas, or kerosene, or whatever, even the lubricants. It's important that we use the Naira as a benchmark. Using the dollar as a benchmark will now affect other services. And you know, in Nigeria, when things go up like that, they hardly come down.
Yeah.
So it's something that you should see as a sacrifice for now. Why we encourage our own country to try and see how they can increase the supply. Because the way it is now, limited oil is being given to him below what he needs. And he has to make up the shortfall by importing in dollars.
Yeah.
That's because the past administration mortgaged over half of what we are producing on a daily basis.
Yeah.
For now, it's about 1.6 million barrels per day. And out of that 1.6 million barrels per day, we have a commitment to supply some of these Chinese companies because as a result of the loans we collected over time.
We have traded
our
oil
for some years. So it's something that is very complicated for him. And what we can only say is, as every businessman want to be
to make profit. That's why it's in business.
To make profit. But we have come to see Dangote as a Nigerian brand that should serve Nigerians.
No, what I said, how long for one man to be the sole determinant of this major factor? I like the foundation you laid, that every factor or every facet of production is hinged on energy, which is oil. So why should it be that one man is in business in that sector?
It's the same thing I'm saying. We need to also encourage the government to see how we can increase our production. Thank God, this agency that's in charge of upstream, they've given license to more companies for oil prospecting. Maybe that one will help to shore up our production capacity. By OPEC standard,
prospecting is different from production.
It's part of production.
Upstream is about extracting.
Yes.
And everybody, when they extract, they sell off in dollar. That's all the business they're doing. I'm talking about, processing this thing into the various products. Why should it be the job of one man?
No, sir. Understand me.
Okay.
The upstream that I'm talking about is production. And production will also increase our capacity from the 1.6 to the benchmark of 2.2 million barrels per day.
Okay.
And that one we now have to bridge the gap that we are experiencing so that local production, local processing will not be improved on. And if we are processing locally, it has its own positive effect on the pricing that we should be having.
Okay.
So if what the upstream sector is anything to go by, 2-3 days ago, those contracts were signed and they were given licenses to go out to prospect. So we know that it should not be indefinite. That's why the federal government should expedite actions to increase our capacity.
That's it.
So that it will not continue to be sacrificing and not gaining. So the pressure should not go to the federal government, the NNPCL, and other stakeholders to see how they can increase the daily production of crude oil in the country.
Okay, why talking on increasing our daily production of petroleum products? I want to come from the side of Uzo when he said, why just that one man is handling this heavy commitment? Don't you think the federal government has to look into, bringing back our refineries to life so that we could have more productions and, sell even our own products as well?
Yes, it's good for our refineries to come back, but they should go to private sector for better management. What we should be asking for now, sell off these refineries to willing companies. And I'm sure there are companies who are willing to take charge of this. But the Nigerian thing, there will be bottlenecks. Those who are enjoying the status quo believe that governments only continue to own those refineries, be in their best benefits, selfish interest, will be putting bottlenecks. They say government is not good in business. And that's why the NNPC over the years has been running at a loss. But if you bring in people like Dangote, there are other individuals. I'm just mentioning that.
Yes, yes.
It will be more business-like. Running those refineries will be more business-like. We know that those refineries are moribund. The equipment there are old-fashioned. These are refineries that were built in
But
the
we've
late
heard sometimes that
70s.
we've heard sometimes that they, put in some funds to
Turnaround
rebrand,
maintenance.
do a turnaround maintenance. So what has been happening?
Those issues are still being discussed. The corruption behind it. They are still,
corruption.
so we did not get results from those turnaround maintenance.
Okay.
And corruption is a big problem in managing public companies. So that's why we should encourage that it should be given to more private hands for better management.
So much on the issue of sale and, of course, production of petroleum products. We're looking at this one. All of a sudden, Atiku is becoming very vociferous in attacking the government of Tinubu, who they are both running for the same election. And, of course, the federal government has things to say about him when he was in power. Now, this trading of accusations, what does it tell of our leadership? Are we washing our dirty linens in public? Because neither nor is good.
What is happening is not strange. Even in developed democracies, you still see it happening. You want to win public fancy when it comes to politicking, when it comes to campaigning. We have not started campaigning, but it's the politicking that is going on is part of wanting to outdo one another. But what is important is if there are critical issues that needs to be looked into, it should be done constructively. Because you are not in government does not mean that everything that government is doing is bad. Once in a while, let the opposition acknowledge that this government of the day is doing well. And also the government of the day, if the opposition is saying something cogent, accept it and say you will look into it. It's not about I must be against you, you must be against me. They should have at the back of their mind that it is Nigerians that they want to serve. So everything should be in the interest of the country, not because you want to outdo one another. But how do you do it? It's so natural. It comes so natural for people to be critical
politicians
of one another, particularly when they are at the opposite end.
It's expected also. It's expected, especially since we know that this PFIPC issue has been in the news for how long now? The ICPC is probing, and we know that even the police, the police will be quizzed. There are all the top agencies of government, the ministries, they are coming out. The Foreign Affairs has absorbed itself, saying that they did not even collaborate with them in the first place. So Atiku appears to have found a way because, yes, he's now holding on to it and asking the president of Nigeria to apologize to the people and resign. But we also see, on the other hand, President Trump is applauding our president. Yes, he's applauding him for the fight against terrorism. Christian persecution. He has seen a bit of action on that end. So how do you balance that? We have local issues, and then we also have internationally this applause going to the president. Do you think that enough has been done in the area of security yet to warrant an international applause from President Trump, who we know how he has been, he has been tackling Nigeria to do something so far?
For the presidential, what do they call it, promotion, investment promotion council, I think it's a council that was never established, was never backed by law. It's something that could have happened anywhere in the world, but I expect the presidency to own up that mistakes were made and they regretted it. But to say he should resign, it's like saying nobody is above mistakes. I don't expect the president to resign.
Do you see it as a mistake?
Yeah.
It was a mistake.
How is that?
Because due process in each of the gates were not followed. It is even difficult to in the country that we are, where the presidency is seen to be above the law. The way we operate, everybody doubles to the presidency. The presidency cannot make a mistake. Once anybody is quoting the presidency, it appears
It's law.
it should receive smooth sail.
Yeah.
So that mistake has been made, and I think it should be a lesson to us that it is better that we don't look at individuals but institutions. We scrutinize at every gate to ensure that fake do not thrive in our society, because the man knew from the beginning that council was not established by
not
law.
been formally established
By law. But he kept on using the name of the presidency to break gates, to move from one place to the other.
Was it the one that did that, or the SSG? Who did? No.
I mean the chief of staff.
Chief of staff. Who did all this break?
Yeah.
Is it Ade himself that broke? Or
Gates. Does he have the capacity? The
because,
capacity
because
to
you
break
calling
in?
it a mistake now.
Yes.
I don't know.
Because
then that is why they should, like you said, they should own up.
They should own up.
They should
because
own up.
I see it as a mistake. They should own up.
If it's really a mistake,
there was nothing deliberate. Nobody in government will want to embarrass the government that is in. More so the president, by bringing in a fake person to masquerade as one presidential aide.
We are worried because of the level of money involved.
And not only money,
staff
deployed.
So you can see the extent to which we have respected that president.
Yes.
Nobody wants to check anything that's coming from the president. And that's why I use the word mistake. Some people must have said, oh, it's from the presidency. So you see them complying with that proper scrutiny. With that proper scrutiny. Because by the time you want to do scrutiny, you might be seen as slowing down progress on things that concerns the presidency. So I see it as a mistake. And I also believe that the presidency should own up to that mistake, apologize. But I on the ground that nobody is so perfect, we are heading towards perfection.
Okay,
I don't see him resigning.
You are being very simplistic about it. Because for instance, by now, if such a thing, if I am the president, and then you do name dropping with me, and then something is done that maligns my office, the first thing is that Gbajabiamila should be suspended from office.
Gbajabiamila is not what you are. Gbajabiamila is not the person we are targeting now.
Who are we targeting?
I think we're targeting the president.
Yes.
So whoever is involved in these mistakes has to be dealt with one way or the other.
Definitely.
But to ask for the president to resign, we are not practicing. We're not practicing the cabinet system of government. It's a presidential system of
That's the
government.
position's way of calling attention to
To
issues.
this question, because Atiku did not say this before now.
Yes.
This probe has been on. Do not forget that taxpayers' money is being spent by the ICPC to even probe the matter.
Yes.
So let's not forget that. Atiku waited for some time before he began to ask the president, because we have not seen the president coming out to even call to order.
Yes.
The people who were involved.
They kept saying it's a fake agency, as if it's the man that created the agency by himself.
We have not seen that will by the president to actually say, that he's going to stand and make sure that anyone who
will be dealt with.
Who will ridicule the president.
It's just that sometimes we don't have confidence in our institutions to deliver justice.
Okay.
Otherwise, the ICPC has been mandated to carry out a thorough investigation, which is why I believe the court has extended its hearing so that the ICPC can do proper investigation before they get to the court.
Okay.
So we should not put the cat before the horse. Let us allow for proper investigation. A lot of people do not have confidence in the ICPC because of what I have just said. It's only the president that is from practice. It's the president that is above every other thing. But we should try by making our institutions to be stronger.
Everybody is equal.
Yes, everybody is equal. Not just say because it's coming from the presidency, it should not be questioned. So then we are going towards the other issue you raised.
Yes.
Concerning Donald Trump.
Yes.
And the commendation is sent to President Bola Tinubu.
Can I cut you short before you come in there? That issue she raised, that the President Trump, giving those praises or accolades to Bola Tinubu, and just recently we see that Atiku actually, paid a foreign firm to, probe into the president's case. And we just found that he used $1.2 million for that alone. And now a case has been submitted to the Trump administration of Tinubu's 1993 civil forfeiture case of drug dealing. And now the United States president is coming out to give him those praises. What do you say?
All these things are context-based. The issue of commendation is based on what the president of the United States has observed over time. And it also tells us something, that the world is still watching us in whatever we are doing. He has seen some remarkable improvements in the tackling of insecurity in the country. It's not something that we can fight overnight and win. More so when even developed countries find it difficult to fight guerrilla warfare.
So we
because
what we're
having in Nigeria,
we've completely win the insecurity issue.
I'm coming to that. You cannot completely win a guerrilla warfare. You are not seeing them. You are not fighting them like a conventional war. So if commendations is coming from the president, is because they have observed over time some marked improvements in the way we are fighting insecurity. Don't forget that this insurgency is both within and without. You have collaborators within. It's difficult to fight when people who you are trusting with your strategies are also truncating it and giving information to the terrorists. So if in spite of all these challenges, we are still making inroads, a man that is very playing with words, sometimes it can be very vulgar. So
he says it as it is.
Yes, it is. That is the average American. They are not British. That we try to be diplomatic with the way they present. If Trump can come to commend the president, is because indeed he has seen some marked
and perhaps he wants us to sustain the fight.
And it's not out of place that the presidency is making feasts out of it.
Okay.
Anybody could do that. So that they are doing it maybe is to score political gains. And anybody can do that. But for Atiku, it's not a new issue. When the last election in 2023, he brought this drug issue up, and we didn't see the end of it. He's still not satisfied. He's still saying investigations should be looked into. Maybe he wants another condemnation.
Of course,
aside the commendation.
To the president,
So that is a personal fight. Let him go ahead.
When it comes to politicking,
but it's part of the politics we're talking about.
Mudslinging.
So,
yes, it's a political strategy.
So for me, I believe strongly that if the past will haunt you, then you must have what to do at any time to redeem your image.
All right.
Because it's the past haunting, trying to haunt the president. But we cannot for now say if he actually was guilty or not until the investigation comes out.
It's the court that should prove that.
It's the court that should prove that.
How much it impinges on his
integrity.
But he waits till election time before he brings it up. That's the only problem.
But that's politics. Well, viewer, we're on paper review with Comrade Churchill Oyowe. We'll come back to continue the matter.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. We continue with paper review. And while you were talking, Churchill, you mentioned that campaigns have not started. But we saw a report in the papers that INEC is now helpless as parties have started campaign and they are flaunting the Electoral Act and, of course, the fact of fair play. What do you have to say to that? Because formally, but informally,
people are using gimmicks to campaign. it's not as if anybody has started printing posters and talking about what he will do better if elected.
People are already campaigning for others, for their principals.
Those ones, you can say they are not, they are not basic campaigns.
Okay.
People are just showing
endorsements.
all those endorsements and the rest. They are not basic campaign. You cannot hold them in the wrist and say they are really guilty of campaigning. But then INEC should be up and doing in enforcing its own rules to ensure that we don't have a disorderly arrangement going forward. The timetables should be well spelled out, and the players should be reminded of the rules. Because at this time, if INEC clamp down on any political party or individual, it might be misconstrued as persecution. So INEC is helpless, but then they have to take charge and ensure that sanity reigns in the political space going forward, so that there will be sanity, there will be orderliness. We need orderliness. We need people to move from one stage to the other. There is a timetable for campaign. The time will come, but individuals who are in the political field should respect the guidelines, and so that we don't run a disorderly society. INEC should take charge. Keep reminding the players
that it's not your time for
that it's not your time, and there are sanctions for defaulters.
And INEC should do more sensitization, don't you think?
That's why I'm calling. They will take charge.
Yes.
They should take charge.
Yes, for the generality of the
INEC has
people.
been quiet because we have not
More
been hearing from them as we
sensitization,
should.
really.
As sensitive as the.
But voter registration is on. It will end tomorrow. It will end tomorrow. So it's stage by stage.
Okay.
So we should be patient with INEC. For me, but INEC itself should spend more in enlightening the public on the stages from one stage to the other. So
we're very close to elections as well. We are very close to election, and just
it's for all players to also be conversant with the rules. You don't need to be told. You are going to the political field. Educate yourself. You must not be educated by the regulator, by the umpire, because as a political person, you should be conversant with the rules. The political parties, the members of the political parties, they also owe themselves responsibility.
Exactly. Because you're talking about strategic engagement.
You see, in our elementary days of studying government, political parties also have that responsibility to educate the electorate. So it's not only INEC alone. So the political parties can educate their members. Their members are part of the electorate, so that we don't fall foul of the law. We don't necessarily eat up the policy. Let's follow the guidelines. Let's follow the timelines that have been given, so that we can maintain orderliness going forward.
Now let's come to Delta.
Also, just to quickly add this, INEC appears to be somewhat understaffed now because they've announced that they are employing, so people are applying, and just so that our listeners or our viewers can as well take advantage of this opportunity. Yes, they've advertised that they're saying that they need to bring more people in ahead of the election. So for those looking for jobs, if you're a job seeker, please take advantage of this. Do your research and apply.
All right, before we tail off on paper review, let's come down to Delta State. There's what is called investment summit in view for the state, economic summit, and the state is targeting foreign investors. Can you speak to that? Is it timely? Are we qualified to invite foreign investors?
Well, at any time, we should take steps to make our environment attractive for investments. The question is, are we attractive enough at this material time? Mind you, Delta State is not a country. It's a state. It's a federating unit. And there are challenges that are facing the country that are also facing Delta State. So to that extent, we may not entirely say the responsibility is squarely before the government of the state, particularly in the area of insecurity. One thing that can deprive investors from coming is insecurity. They want to be sure of their investments. They want to be sure of money spent. But if you look at the way things are going on now, the fight is being taken back to the terrorists, to the kidnappers, to the armed robbers. The police in the states, they have been making some gains in fighting criminality. Even the Department of State Securities, they work silently but effectively. We want to see this feat sustained because it is not what you are saying, it is what they are observing outside of this environment that matters. They will be looking at the things that make for profitable investment. If insecurity is still an issue, if ethnic strife is still an issue, if DEVE is still an issue, they know. You don't need to tell them. But then it is good that we also make effort to tell the world our potentials, things that we have that they can come in to look at and invest in. They talked about blue economy. Delta has the second longest stretch of coastline, short coastline, 165 kilometers. The second largest in the country. So that is a potential for blue economy to thrive. We need river transportation that is truly vibrant for people to buy into. The way it is now, it is not. I will not call the kind of river transportation that we have as cohesive. We need investors in that field, and aside that, we need people who will look at the resources in our rivers, in the coastline, to see how we can tap into the fishery industry, because that is one area that Senegal as a country is doing well. Some of the fish we eat here in Nigeria, they are coming from Senegal, and they are doing well in that area. They've regulated that industry to the extent that it is now something of international standard. We need to look into that and see how we can win investors, not necessarily foreigners. Nigerians can go into it. We have agriculture as also a potential. This state is still a strong state when it comes to rubber plantation. We can invest in that. I look at the way we buy tires, to the extent that we now depend on used tires. And before you know it, 2-3 months, it has gone back. We can encourage investors to come start using our rubber lattice
resources
for producing tire. We can become a major producer of tires, and because that industry has a ready-made market, we don't necessarily need to be importing tires as a country, because whatever we are producing here as raw material, they take it over there to produce. So there are a lot of things that we can say we have comparative advantage in.
But we're talking about blue economy now.
I've moved from blue economy to agriculture.
Now on blue economy, let's end it here. If you notice, for a long time, big vessels don't come to. We have 3 ports in Delta State.
4. Four, yes.
Warri,
Cocoa,
Sapele, Cocoa. Okay, Burutu, that's right. Now, the reason why the vessels don't come is because of the shallow water. The places need to be dredged. Whose responsibility is it? Is it the federal government or the state government? Because until that is done, you can't talk about successful blue economic activities in Delta State.
Dredging is federal government's responsibility. They are not seaports, they are river ports. We should get that. And that means the capacity is limited. That's why at the time they wanted to build a seaport at the Ogidigbe Escravos Axis. That one will now take bigger vessels. Then the ones that are good for river, they will be taking it down to the river ports that we have in Brutu, in Warri, in Sapele, and in Cocoa. So there are some natural environment that you don't need to necessarily alter. If we cannot dredge these river ports to the level that bigger vessels can ply, then let us develop the one that we have that we have proposed, so that we will not be pursuing something that may never be realistic. We have been talking about dredging for years.
Yes.
Let us encourage the federal government to develop the seaports that it has proposed in the Escravos area.
Thank you, Churchill, for coming. That does it for Paper Review.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
We
you
hope to
so
have you
much
some
for
other
your
time.
thoughts.
Well, viewers, stay with us. We'll continue on Morning Dew when we return. Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.
Dott Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun, airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. only on Dott TV.
Recall that 46 pupils, teachers, and the school principal were kidnapped on May 15.
You are saying you are the chief security officer, but he doesn't have the power to control the call on the commissioner of police.
The government has to step in to ensure that they get the proper mental
Therapy.
health care, even if it means some sort of relocation from that particular community to somewhere
That's a
else.
possibility.
Yes.
Where are we headed as a country if our children are traumatized from childhood?
When the chips are down, you'll find out that women are able to expand.
Your Voice Africa, showing every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Dott Television.
From Harrison, that is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli, this will be 3 for
Echoes of the Niger Delta, telling the stories, preserving the heritage, and amplifying the voices of the people. Join the journey every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on Dott Television.
impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News are your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
Amazon from Harrison. That is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli. This will be 3 for
Dott Entertainment, your weekly dose of pure fun, airing every Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Saturdays, 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. only on Dott TV.
Echoes of the Niger Delta, telling the stories, preserving the heritage, and amplifying the voices of the people. Join the journey every Saturday at 7:30 p.m. only on Dott Television.
Recall that 46 pupils, teachers, and the school principal were kidnapped on May 15.
You are saying you are the chief security officer, but he doesn't have the power to control the call on the commissioner of police.
The government has to step in to ensure that they get the proper mental health care, even if it means some sort of relocation from that particular community to somewhere
That's a
else.
possibility.
Yes.
Where are we headed as a country if our children are traumatized from childhood?
When the chips are down, you'll find out that women are able to expand.
Your Voice Africa, showing every Wednesday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Dott Television.
In the heart of Asaba, where the street tells the stories every single day.
From the corridors of powers to the decisions shaping governance and politics in Delta and Nigeria.
From traders counting every naira to families battling rising costs and uncertain times.
From football pitches to sporting successes to the major developments making the headlines all over the world.
And from the untold human stories, the struggles, victories, resilience, and hope of the everyday Nigerians.
This is the news beyond the headlines. Dott TV News Hour, your trusted window to stories that truly matter to the people. Here, we don't just report events, we tell the human stories behind them.
We impose extra burden on the masses. I feel your pain.
Only humility will lead us to unity, and unity will lead us to peace.
Go to the market and sell your products.
From Harrison, that is a massive world record. Martinelli goes, boys, out of his goal. Martinelli, and here, this will be 3 for Arsenal.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. We are standing by to join one of our guests on Zoom. When we get that right, we'll be back. But for now, Ify, when we were looking at the papers, we saw 5 cups of coffee a day.
Yes.
We
It's
do what?
good for the heart.
It's good for the heart.
Yes.
Now, what about nicotine?
Well,
They tell you not to take coffee because of nicotine. Now they are, I told you they take us back and forth on this matter.
the thing is,
So where are we?
We have this update from the American Heart Association, so it's something to go by.
Yeah.
It means that it has gone through a lot of research and authentication for them to finally come out to tell us that. When you talk about nicotine, the heart
No, I meant caffeine. Sorry, caffeine.
Yes, caffeine.
Nicotine is with cigarettes.
Exactly. When you talk about caffeine in coffee, you're talking about tolerance of the heart, tolerance level. So
Okay.
they're saying that 5 cups can be tolerated
A day.
yes, by your heart.
Mm.
So the heart can keep functioning well if you don't go beyond that number. So it is safe to consume.
I also know that coffee has different
brands.
different brands have different levels
yes.
of content of nicotine.
Yes.
So
Of
which one are they
caffeine.
recommending of caffeine? I keep saying nicotine of caffeine. Which one would they recommend for us? Because you see, these things, the way Nigerians are obsessive about this thing, once they hear it from nutritionists, it's like, oh, this is what they said.
Okay, this is a
you
go.
see those who hated coffee before. Oh yeah. And then what is the size of cup?
Exactly.
Yes, because we do know that there are teacups, different sizes. I believe that for a thing like this, they might be talking about the normal teacup. There's some, not the type that we use.
You know, we
In this
use,
part of the
you
world.
know our size.
Which
We
one
use
is
to
normal?
know- Yes, there's this small teacup.
Okay,
That's what we
that
know.
very small
yes,
one.
that's what I understand when you talk about a
The
teacup.
Oyibo teacup.
Would that be
Yes.
enough?
The
You
Oyibo
know
When
our
we were in
size.
school,
Our
when we
size
are
is
students,
like,
we used to count ourselves. There is challenge cup when it comes to drinking tea. There is nations cup when it comes to drinking tea. There is what is it called? FA cup. There is also World Cup. I used to have a fellow student who, when he wants to make his tea, the boy liked tea and bread. He will get this small bucket and put water inside
Are you
and put
kidding?
boiling ring. As the tea boys, you think he wants to take water from them. No, he will just pour his tea there, put it in, and in your presence, he will finish one bucket of tea. When I say bucket, small bucket.
So that's abuse.
So,
No,
but
maybe he
but
does that
he liked
for
it.
maybe once. Is it once a week or every day?
Every morning. He was one guy
Jeez.
that I think for him, he bought his meal ticket. That time life was easier. He bought
Okay.
meal ticket that will serve me for lunch, and so every morning his breakfast is tea and bread.
Oh.
And the bread is of a particular size. It's the Kumbi boss.
Well, I think
So
at
I
that
think they
time-
should go further to tell us what size of cup and all that. I like coffee myself, especially the fragrance. I like it so much. But still, we should be careful what level of caffeine the coffee we're taking contains.
Yes,
Okay.
it contains.
Yeah.
Very important.
Very
So I
important.
think
Now, there's something we did not review in the papers.
Okay.
I saw that somebody was an inmate in the prison and he was running a syndicate of car thefts. How could that have been? Things happen in this country.
It's possible. That's also why when we're talking about the commander who was sentenced to life imprisonment, you know,
Yes.
when people like that remain alive,
Yes.
they can keep.
They find a way.
Yes, because they have their followers out there.
Mm.
So it's more like the person is there with you. You can see them physically in the prison, but they are able to still communicate. And the problem as well is that they have a lot of money.
Now, what I'm saying, how do you communicate when you are
No.
when you are incarcerated?
If you have
No,
the
you
first
are.
thing is to
When
take
you
your
have
phone.
no, when you have the money, you know, even in the correctional centers,
Yes.
they have the executive cells.
Ah.
They have grades. There you can
Okay.
use AC, you can use your bed, and
Okay.
you sleep very well, and you can also use your phone. So
All right, we're getting signal that we're almost catching up with our guest on Zoom.
Yeah. So at this point, we'll have a conversation. Now, this is an interesting.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives. Yes, welcome back. And of course, issues of the disposition of our urban centers, our cities, have remained a thing of concern. When you go to other climes, whether it be coastal city like you have Turkey, Istanbul, you see cities that are built close to water, neat, beautiful. But in our place, most of the times, the places near the coastline, everywhere is dirty, not kept. So urban centers are of concern. Today, we're going to have as a guest a man who is a professor of geography and urban planning in Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, Delta State. He's going to be conversing with us on urban planning and emerging challenges. We're talking about Professor Magnus Ojeifo. Prof, good morning.
Good morning, Prof.
good morning, sir.
Can you hear us? Oh, we can't hear him. We can't hear him.
Yes. We are trying to
Yeah.
rectify that so we can get the audio from.
That's right. If we get the
loud
audio
and
right.
clear.
Mm.
Yes, Prof is joining us from Benin City.
Yes.
Yes, this morning. So we're hopeful that the analysis that he will give us an understanding of how
No,
we can manage
a prof is a prof any day.
Yes, so how we can better manage our environment.
Exactly.
Yes, and improve the state of our urban centers across Nigeria. So we'll have that conversation shortly. So now, remember, we're talking of urban planning.
Yeah.
And we'll start with understanding what it is really. What does it mean for every one of us today? How do we play into the mix of ensuring that our urban centers are well planned, structured,
And preserved.
for sustainable living?
Yeah.
So that we don't have urban centers that are not structured for the future. Some places, you find that in the next 5 years, they will be too populated.
In fact, the issue with structures is that they have. Hello,
Prof,
sir.
can you hear us now?
Hello, Prof. Oh, Prof is talking. We're not hearing him. I don't know.
Okay, but
Are you hearing us?
Prof, I think you can hear us because can you hear us, Prof? Okay, he said he can.
Just the connection is a bit poor here.
Beautiful. We can hear you
Beautiful.
now.
Welcome.
I can hear you.
Welcome.
Good
Thank
morning,
you.
sir. How are you today?
Good morning. How are you?
We are doing well at Dott TV. You're welcome to Dott TV. And of course, we're glad to have this conversation with you. Well, the network is failing us, but like at our level, you know, we have had a few conversations here on urban planning. In fact, there was a young man that came from the Ministry of, and he told us that surprisingly, most of our cities don't have what they call master plan. That shocked me actually.
Shocking.
That shocked me because what I thought is when an urban center is conceived, of course, there's the indigenous aspect, but in conceiving it as an urban center, you come out with a plan to say this portion of land, this is how we lay it out, this is how we lay it out. We have a church here, we have market here, we have
schools,
you know, schools here.
And mosques as well.
But for you to say that,
centers. Prof, can you hear us now? Good morning, sir.
Hello?
Good morning, sir.
Sorry, we have
Very
network
good.
issues.
You're welcome. You're welcome to Morning Dew.
All right, sir. Let's see whether we can start the conversation this way. You are a professor of geography and urban planning. What is the content of that course, and how are students enrolling in that course these days, as against your time?
Please, you repeat the question because network is not friendly now.
All right, sir. I say you are a professor of geography and urban planning. What is the content of the course? And of course, how much do children enroll for that course these days?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, the course on planning, it's a course that runs across 3 levels. It is.
Okay.
And the reason it is so designed is to make our children, many students, you know, have this awareness of what our environment is like and the way the major problems should be tackled. Now, using the new curriculum, what we call the 6C maths, the course cuts across 200, 300, in fact, 100, 200, 300 levels in particular. Okay. You know, in 100 level, put the major introduction, and we also do part of practical courses. Then in 200 level, the same, where we take a course like site planning and landscaping. Then at 300 level, we have a course we call urban design, when we introduce students to how arrangement of land uses is done for effective development of either rural or urban sectors. So for 3 years, it's a major course that is introduced to students. So by the time they are graduating, they already have a grip of what and how the urban or rural environment should look like for livability.
Okay.
Now, when you talk about site planning and scaping, what do you mean, sir?
Okay, that is a course we handle at 200 level. Well, site planning is a kind of arrangement of the physical environment, of physical structures in an environment. Then landscaping is introducing beautification, using certain materials to give the quality of that environment. For example, give you a school environment to site plan or make a site plan of. In other words, our interest is to organize that environment based on what you intend to do. If it is school you want to build, for example, maybe a secondary school, you know, you first of all ask, what are those major elements that should make a secondary school or that should be in a secondary school? For example, a good secondary school should have classrooms, a sick bay, a farm, a sports complex, then place for administration, and so on and so forth. But it does not end there. How do you arrange these structures in place to make the environment usable? That is the ambition here. Then when that is done, it is expected that using certain materials, you should be able to, improve on the quality of that environment by introducing certain plants, certain statutes, and so on and so forth. So when you see something like shrubs, or the one you popularly call flowers, and certain ornamental trees planted in an organized manner, or using certain statutes, or using ordinary curbs, to beautify or to raise the quality of that environment, you are into what we call landscaping.
Okay.
All right, sir.
Yeah,
Now, let me ask another question. When you look at some of our cities, especially when you are flying, you look at them from the air. Ibadan, for instance, do you say such cities were planned, or what happened to the plan? Because they don't look sightly.
Okay. As it is today, over 95 to 98% of our towns and cities are not planned.
Okay.
Our growth, urban growth, is traditional in nature, and we have built on that over time. But even with the introduction of the urban and regional planning laws, now having to raise the quality of this environment has been problematic. We know we have used certain instruments, such as development or urban renewal, to reshape these cities. But you can see that by our nature, it has been difficult. And when the resources are not there, it becomes more difficult. For example, the Ibadan city, how do you break it down to make a new plan for?
Renew it.
It is impossible because a lot of resources will need to go into all that.
Exactly.
Which in most cases, people will tell you they don't have. So we are still living ourselves, living in a manner that we have lived in the past. Although some segments of some of our cities, have been touched using urban renewal. But again, it depends on the will and the resources of government in power. Because when changes are to come, they are met with resistance. And except you have a government who is intentional, you discover that when he succeeds, that is what is happening in Ibadan.
Okay.
The town is still growing, or the city is still growing the way, it went from the beginning, the way it has been from the beginning. And it's not helping us with the problem we have.
Okay, sir. Professor, sir, can you tell us the biggest urban planning challenges that Nigeria is facing today, and what is the government doing towards that? Or what can the government do?
Okay, if I hear you correctly, I'm sure you are asking of the problems that urban centers in Nigeria are facing.
Exactly.
Am I correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, urban centers in Nigeria are facing a lot of challenges. And what are these challenges? Apart from the fact that the population of these centers seem to be increasing daily, so also we have the problem of meeting up the needs and the demands of this ever-growing population of urban centers. For example, as we know, the growth rate, urban center growth rate as of today, population growth rate, is about 3.5% annually, which is huge. And as we also know, as it is with Nigerian population, which has been put at about 240 million or thereabout, we also know that about 63% of Nigeria's population now reside in urban center. This is huge. And because of this, a lot of problems, are there. Number one of such problems is what you call overburdening of facilities. You know that the facilities provided are overstretched. And because they are overstretched, they are not working optimally. There's a problem. When the facilities you have are more than the needs of the increasing population, then there is a problem. And that problem is what supposed to be joint government. Another one is high cost and inadequate housing.
Okay.
You and I know the cost of housing in urban centers today. In places like Lagos, Asaba, Benin, 1 bedroom goes as much as 500,000 to 600,000 to some close to 800,000, which is far beyond what the ordinary man can achieve or attain.
So
Then
how
indiscriminate
can
waste disposal is another problem. Yeah, the problem of waste is huge in urban centers. Everywhere you go to, you have waste dumps everywhere. This also is a clear indication that is beyond what government can do. There are many. Yeah. Conversion of open spaces is also there. Emergence of slums, slum area is also there. There are very many. Flooding is a problem, especially at this peak of rainy season. Our cities are flooded. This is as a result of lack of planning or poor planning that was put in place over time. So these are some of the problems.
Okay, Prof, thank you so much for being able to bring together all the issues. We understand it better. How do we begin to prioritize at this time? Urban planning, designing should ideally precede or come before building. But what we have seen in our society now is because we don't have enough housing units, Nigeria is running short of housing units now. A lot of people need houses, but they cannot find houses. How do we begin to prioritize such that even as people are building, we are somewhat accommodating planning? What should come first? How do we begin to bring government to understand the need for planning to precede housing development and urban, urban renewal, some of the plans that they have for our urban centers?
What it is today is awful, as a matter of fact. Now, if we know that planning is essential for development, then it simply means that every facet of our development, planning should be the foremost and included or inclusive. How do I mean? Our population is growing. Our cities are turning into slums. And it is amazing that the approach that government, has not been able to come out clearly to see how this problem can be solved is set problematic. How do I mean? Urban centers are growing population. Waste is the problem. If I've enumerated the problem, to be honest, if you go to even at local government level, you have town planning authorities. What are they doing? They are not doing anything. The only thing you see them do is, when the development is going on, they simply go there and they make inscriptions on walls. That is not the best way to go. First and foremost, you must have a development plan, a land use plan, which you also call a master plan.
Okay.
There is nothing wrong that in a city or an emerging urban center, there are still a population of more than 25 to 50,000 to begin to have a master plan, because that indicates that development is going to continue.
Okay.
So you must prepare a master plan to guide development, and this is what government is not doing. So, like when I was presenting a lecture few months ago, I told them, that today there are areas you go to that the roads are not easily passable. For example, it is by standard that your ordinary street should not have a width of less than 12 meters.
Okay.
Today we have roads that can hardly measure 7 meters. Like I told my students yesterday, there are streets where a vehicle will have to wait for another to pass
Of course.
before they can pass, because there is no regulation, because there is no master plan to guide development. Until you have that, development will continue to be haphazard. There is something you call zoning when you are preparing a master plan. In that zoning, you give allocation to what do you call it now? To what you want to make plan for. Yes, housing has its area, market you have its area, and so on and so forth. That is what zoning is all about. But today in our cities, what you have is mixed development, and this is creating a very huge problem. The only way government can tackle this problem is to go for urban renewal. Now, this can be done in phases. So say, okay, let's make a development plan, sort of. So say, okay, in the next 3 years, we'll handle section A. Let us look at the major physical problems. It could be that for housing. It could be that the roads are dilapidating. It could be that commercial development is haphazard. All of that. So what is to a renewal, and by 2026, you're able to, for a period of time, you're able to achieve some successes. So this is what government should do.
All right. I'm afraid that the much time can permit us with you on this program. We've been with Professor Magnus Ojeifo, all the way from Ambrose Ali University, Ekpoma, in Edo State. I'm sure next time we'll have more time. We want to thank you for giving us Aaron, your son. He's a very smart guy. Thank you. So next time we have longer time to talk. Thank you for being there.
Thank you so much, Prof.
And thank you for the
Thank you so much, Prof. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you very much.
And he gave us Aaron.
Yes, he gave us Aaron. All right, I'm afraid that's where we're going to end it, because we want to carry out some routine activities for better performance. Ify.
It's been a wonderful time on the program today, talking about the phony agency matter that we mentioned earlier, and the fact that it has given fodder to the opposition to further attack the federal government. So we are hoping that the federal government actually comes out to resolve this problem. We believe that it's in the hands of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to put an end to this matter, so Nigerians can rest and focus on the forthcoming election. I am Ify Arono, and we'll see you tomorrow for Thank God It's Friday.
Success.
All right, it has been a wonderful Thursday this morning, and I want to take from the urban planning, housing angle. So it is ideal that we have proper planning for, locations, our country, our states. So we can have our cities looking beautiful and, well developed for healthy.
Wake up with us every morning.
We'll bring you news at its peak.
Accurate and factual report.
Morning Dew, where every sunrise begins with inspiration and fresh perspectives.